Welcome, I'm Ophelia, and I'm currently filling in today for Candace because she's diving in the Philippines. And some upcoming projects we have are Callie and Calico, our newest TV show creation that we are currently curating. I'm so excited to bring it to life, so stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's get to our guest today, Kristin Goodman. Yay! Hi! Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Thank you.
So glad you're here.
Yeah, me too.
So, I guess let's bring out our handy dandy
Okay.
cards. So, Kristin,
Yes.
tell me about your journey as an artist. Have you always wanted to be in the film industry, and how did you sort of get into it?
So I began my journey as an undergraduate acting student at University of New Mexico. So I have an acting degree from University of New Mexico, and then I have a graduate degree in acting from Chicago's theater school at DePaul. So I spent years in theater and then directing theater in Chicago, and then wrote my first screenplay after I graduated from grad school. From there, I got into film.
Nice. So, how do you come up with your screenplays? I've always been interested in that. How does one's imagination just...
I think a lot of people have different processes. Usually, for me, it just kind of drops in. I just kind of have a moment where a person or a character comes into frame, and then a story evolves from that person. I recently wrote a play that was produced in Santa Fe in December called #Under the Influence. And that play I was brushing my teeth, and the title dropped in, the characters dropped in, their relationships dropped in, and I was like, oh, I guess I got to go write this down. So it happens kind of like that sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in your opinion, what is the hardest part about writing?
Rewriting. I think that process of rewriting your work and killing your darlings and making sure that you're not only serving the story, but you're serving the audience. Because oftentimes as a writer, you will think, oh, this is amazing, but the audience is not reading what you're putting out. So you have to look at your script from an audience perspective at some point during the rewrite process.
Okay, so I guess bouncing off of that, how do you not overthink everything? You're like, oh my God, is this right? Is this wrong? And then you just forget about the whole project and don't even do it. How do you really ground yourself into the essence of the entire
I would say that writers, to be successful, you have to be willing to fail, and you have to be willing to take risks. So you are often putting yourself in a very vulnerable situation where you assume other people are judging you when really they're just supporting you and wanting to give you critique that's going to help elevate your work. So I think that's probably the answer to that from my perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
And so I know you've taken on a lot of roles: actor, stunt person, writer, director, and producer. Okay, queen. Yes, I love her. Maybe I'm missing a few as well. But what is your favorite role, and why was it your favorite?
You mean role in
in all your aspects of all these forms you've taken on.
Okay.
Which one has been your favorite?
Directing.
Yes.
Directing, absolutely. It took me a while to switch from theater directing to film directing. I thought about that for a while, why it took me a while, because people were pushing me to do it. But when I lived in Los Angeles, I was training horses, and I was writing screenplays, and I was going to meetings and doing all that LA thing. And there were a number of women that were pushing me to direct my features. And I was like, no, I like this. I can just kind of be under the radar. I can go do my things and not take a month out of my life to go somewhere. But then when we moved here, I found out that there was a bigger support system for indie filmmakers and women specifically. And then at the same time, a lot of female filmmakers started to really come out of the woodwork and they get more support. So I'm hoping to be one of those people that can like pave the path for younger filmmakers who are hesitating to take on that sort of job, and instead go, no, it can be done. You can do everything.
That is true.
Yeah.
Empowerment to the people. I agree.
Yeah.
And also the fact that now it's a lot safer, I feel like, for women to actually stand in their powers, stand in like their essence of like, I'm here
Absolutely.
and take me seriously
Absolutely.
as I would you.
Yeah.
And I love that. You're like standing in that for us. So my generation or
Yeah.
whomever can come forward and be like, I'm ready.
That's my hope.
In the safest, most empowered possible way.
Yeah.
So, of course, I Instagram stalked you. So I noticed a lot of pictures of horses.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, do you own horses?
I own 5 horses.
Okay.
And I grew up in the South Valley of Albuquerque, and I did like 4-H and rodeo and all that stuff. And then I moved to Texas, and I continued to do it there. I then moved to Los Angeles years later in my career and started to train horses while I was getting my screenwriting career going. So here in Santa Fe, I've been very fortunate to purchase a horse property where I have 5 horses, and they make me very happy. And it's a really great break from the computer and from talking to people, and get out of my head, get into my body. Yeah.
So, oh, sorry, this pillow is. Yeah, a little.
Toss that toss pillow.
So what are your horses' names?
Okay, so we have Cowboy, we have Glory, we have Hondo, we have Cash, and we have Jolene.
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh, wow.
They're
I love
very
that.
sweet.
Oh God, I love that. So I know you've been working on a new film, and it's getting on the ground in Tucumcari, New Mexico.
So I have a feature that I wrote that is currently my producers are shopping it around to financiers called Tucumcari, and it is a traumedy. We call it a traumedy. So it's very funny, but it's also about the what happens after somebody important in your life passes, and how to move through that while forgiving them and forgiving yourself for the things that happened up till that moment. So we're working on that, but I also just shot a short film with my executive producer who financed the last short film that I shot. And that's called The Other V Word, and it's a comedy. So I'm editing that right now with my editor, Annie Janes, who's also a local editor. And all local New Mexico film crew. I had a number of actors flown out for that one, but there were 8 actors in it, so I wanted to really make it, with comedy you want to make sure that there's that quick dynamic. And so I have a lot of friends that live in Los Angeles that are actors and in New York, and I wanted to make sure that I got to work with people that I want to play with too. So
Nice.
about half the cast were New Mexico cast and half were out of town.
Okay, I love that. A little integrated.
Yeah.
Big sunny small town vibe.
Yeah.
So I believe we have a trailer for your recently completed one.
Yes.
The Maid.
The Maid, yeah.
Should we play the trailer?
I would love that.
Yay! Okay, well, let's play the Maid trailer.
Okay.
Hi, welcome back. Okay, so let's talk about your film, The Maid.
Okay.
So what can you tell me about it? No spoilers. But what inspired you to do this?
So what inspired me was a number of things. I have a couple of horror features. They're thriller horrors. And the producers that I work with that are getting those financed wanted me to shoot a short film for them to sort of be a calling card. A lot of short films are calling cards because there's a lot, you can sell them, but a lot of times it's hard to sell them. The genre of horror is a better market to sell a short. So The Maid came to me because I actually cleaned houses for a couple of years to make ends meet a long time ago. And it was the hardest job I have ever done. And I've done a lot of manual labor, like training horses and stuff. But it is really exhausting. And it's a bit, I felt it was a bit unsafe. And from that perspective, just looking at the domestic workers in this country and seeing that they have to quite literally put themselves in a vulnerable situation going into a stranger's home. They don't know who's going to be there. They don't know who those people are. And they go in and they clean, and sometimes there's not cell service, sometimes it's remote. So there's a lot of factors that come into that kind of work. And my intent with the film was to, one, scare people or creep them out. But on the other hand, I also feel like you can use the medium to also kind of make people think a little bit about the vulnerability of these women that go into these circumstances, nannies, cooks, housekeepers. And as somebody who went into houses for 2 years, I can attest there's some creepy things that happen, and there's some people that you don't want to be around, and you kind of have to weigh the monetary value and your safety. And a lot of women in this country who are in domestic worker, specifically for jobs, don't have the choice. They have to go and they have to do the job. And so what I wanted to do was create a horror film that sort of had the undertone of that social idea, but at the same time, entertain people so that they would enjoy
That gives
it.
me chills, but I love that you're bringing like awareness and like vulnerability, like to how vulnerable people are when it's just them, when you have to make ends meet. Like nobody talks about
You
like
don't have a choice.
yeah, like the behind the scenes of what real life really is, away from all the glamour and like it's this. So I love that.
Well, and the other thing that I wanted to touch on in it was that a lot of women will go into situations and the red flags will pop up.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're constantly being told as women to, like, we're being hysterical, calm down, or you're over-exaggerating, you're being dramatic. And so in the film, there are a lot of moments where these red flags pop up, and you see Frida Mercury. She's a local actress. She's fantastic. She plays the maid, and she did a really beautiful job of having that nuanced thought process that the camera picks up on, where she notices something is off, but she represses it so that she can get to making the money. She needs to finish the job. And so as these red flags pop up, you see her more and more like trying to rationalize until she can't anymore. And that's something that I also feel like a lot of women have to go through on a daily basis.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whew. Well, we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're getting there,
Yeah.
slowly but surely.
Yeah.
We're here, ready to shine.
Absolutely.
Oh, speaking of horror films,
Mhm.
we do have a surprise guest.
Oh.
Shall we welcome him? And he
Yes.
recently also worked on a horror film.
Okay.
Tim McClelland. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
One big happy family.
Yeah.
Film family.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Okay.
We all have to work together in New Mexico to help each other out.
Yeah, we
to get
do.
to get our
Yes.
projects done.
Yes.
And we do.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. So, Tim, tell me about your journey as an artist.
Well, I grew up in Chicago, and when I was a teenager, I got a job videotaping weddings. Back then it was VHS is what we used, so which will be relevant to this film also. So anyway, that's how I got my start in the industry of video, and then made a number of independent, self-funded films, shorts, and feature over the years, and then I moved to New Mexico, and I really like the light out here. It's like you can just in New Mexico you can just go outside and turn the camera on, and it just looks amazing. It's just beautiful. It's like nothing I've ever seen. So I guess that explains why I've stayed here so long. But now I'm part of this community, and I joined the union, the 480. So I work in Hollywood films also.
Okay. Oh, well, welcome, Mr. Hollywood. It's nice to meet you.
Not as anything above the line, just strictly.
He's like, I'm still humble.
Yeah.
Where's my ice latte? My fashion.
I was promised an iced latte, and I never got one.
Oh, excuse me. Can somebody get this man a nice latte? Come on, Hollywood. Do better.
Where's the cart?
Where's the
Got
cart?
all these people sitting around, on the payroll that aren't working.
Literally.
Look at all of them.
Let's go. Come on, guys.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
What really happens. So I understand you're participating in the Dark Red horror film.
Yes.
So can you tell me about that film?
My film or the film festival?
Your film.
My film is called The Second Signal, and it is set in the 80s. It's set in 1987. It was shot in Santa Fe, and it's about a woman that is alone in the house. She's trying to do. She's a video artist, like a conceptual video for like galleries and such in New York City. But yeah, that's which. Yeah. So, but that's not what's actually going. She's trying to produce her work in her house, but there is a mysterious second signal that keeps interfering with her work. Yes, it appears to be that there's some camera elsewhere in the house that is recording other things that she didn't put there, and so that's the central mystery that we have to solve here.
Okay. Do we have a trailer for this?
Yeah, we should.
Okay, shall we? Do you want to play the trailer for that one?
I'd love to.
Okay, then I guess let's play the trailer for this one. Okay. Oh my God. Whew.
So, if you'd like to know more or find out what happens next,
Yes.
you're going to have to go to the Dark Red Film Festival playing at the Guild Theater.
Okay.
It's going to be the Sunday and Monday, 30th, October 30th and 31st. And my block starts at 4 p.m. on Sunday, and your film is playing on Monday.
Yeah, the
Halloween.
Maid is playing on Halloween in the 4th block at the Guild for the Dark Red Horror on the 31st. And then it's playing at the Santa Fe International Film Festival at 9 p.m. at the Jean Cocteau Theater on the 22nd.
Okay. So where can one find tickets? Is there a link? Is it like?
I think Dark Red Horror has a website.
Okay.
And also Santa Fe International Film Festival has a website. And you can click on those websites and grab tickets if they're available.
Yay. Okay. So I
Yeah.
guess is there going to be like a costume contest there? Are you guys dressing up?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
I have
no idea.
Come on,
I
guys.
might have to dress
Sounds
up. I
fun.
might do that,
Alright.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're going to have a I don't know
Yeah.
what other events we're having at the festival. It's this festival's first year.
Dark Red Horror.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I
Yeah.
don't know exactly what they have planned.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
But there's a lot going on in Santa Fe for the Santa Fe International Film Festival, and then the Dark
Mhm.
Red, they've got the whole weekend, I think, it's got a bunch of things going on that are horror-oriented, so that's cool, especially
okay.
on Halloween.
Yeah,
So
we
I
don't want
guess-
any non-horror things
Yeah,
during
no.
October.
I love that. So I guess speaking of costumes, what costume has been your guys' favorite, and what made it so cool throughout?
You mean in our films or in general?
Just in general.
In general.
This is more of tell us about you guys so we
Oh.
know.
Do you have a costume that you really liked that you?
Costume?
I'm trying to think.
Hmm.
I usually have
I'm usually behind
actors.
the
Yeah, that's right. We usually
Yeah.
have other people dressed
Yeah,
up.
I like to dress other people up in costumes and tell them what to do
Yeah, yeah,
while I
yeah.
stand behind the camera safely.
Yeah, exactly. That's more fun. But what's your favorite costume?
Okay, so I'm like a huge cat person, so I have like this cat aura energy. So I guess every year I've kind of like incorporated some sort of like cat into my costume.
Sure.
But I don't know what my favorite. I guess it's the same. It's just like you just throw together whatever's there, or like recreating someone else that you really like admire, like you know. But I don't know. I like to just like throw something cool together and then piece some sort of cat feline energy into it, and just like just go all out.
Yeah.
But I guess like another thing would be like for this Halloween, since Candace isn't here, like what would be some like cool like tricks to play on Candace so when she does get back, you know, I'm like she won't even see it coming.
Oh, I don't know. It'd have to be scary, right? Probably just a jump scare.
A jump scare would be
Hide
good.
behind there.
Bucket of pig's blood you could hook up
A
here.
bucket of
have
pig's blood, sure.
Dump down on her.
Oh my god.
Classic.
That would be actually
Classic
iconic.
prank.
That would
Yeah.
literally go viral on TikTok, and then like, oh my
You
god.
might not want to surprise her, though. You might want to actually plan that with her.
We'll be
'cause,
like,
yeah,
we'll never
it's-
know.
You might not
Might
be
go
friends
bad.
with her anymore.
Yeah. Just
I love
tell her in
that.
advance and we get her
Yeah.
play along.
Yeah.
Oh, so speaking of Candace,
Mhm.
we do have an intentional moment. So let's talk about goals.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I personally hate task listing, but I totally get why Candace is obsessed with it. It is really efficient and it does get things done. And honestly, I agree that sometimes, you know, it steps and it's like, it's just a way to just sort of gather ourselves and gather all this chaos and stuff that's going on in our minds. And so I guess to get in the way of that, you know, it's just like, can you guys tell me about a time in your life where you feel like you got stuck and you couldn't move forward? And like, what did you do to get unstuck?
I am a list maker. I am similar to Candace. I like to make lists. Times in my life where I felt stuck, you know, when I moved to Santa Fe, I had a deal for a feature going, and then that deal fell apart about I don't know 3 or 4 months after we moved here, and my rep also had then like moved on to be executive producing, so I had no rep anymore, and my deal fell apart. So I was really in a weird place where I was like, I'm living in Santa Fe now. How do I make sure that I can keep my career going in a way that's meaningful to me, but also I can have some success? And one of the things I started to do was go to more, you know, filmmaking events, meeting more people in the industry that are out here rather than back in Los Angeles. And through that, I began to build a community of people who were interested in the work that I was doing, that they could see success through my work. So I think that, you know, the things that I've done to get out of any of those situations has been to just be active. You know, make choices that are intentional, be clear about that intention, make sure that it's coming from a place that is out of joy, not fear, and then just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And yes, happy, thank you, more, please.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, when you're stuck and you don't know what to do, you just start moving. You got it. Like, I didn't know how this project was going to end. I really didn't have it all that planned out very well. I knew what the premise. I knew when I wanted it to take place. I knew what the premise was. I knew who I wanted to be in it. But with the story just kind of unfolded, and which is not maybe the best choice to make. But
No,
sometimes you have no choice. You have to either you just got to start it and figure it out, because once things actually get moving, then it all kinds of clears up and your choices become much clearer for you.
Well, yeah, and especially with filmmaking, like, you really have to like keep saying I'm doing this and keep moving the ball forward, because most of the time people, producers specifically and people with money, they want to be around people who are actively pursuing something. They don't want somebody who's waiting around to get those things
Yes.
and then say they're going to do it. They want to see someone who's actively pursuing and has a vision for their own future. And if you don't have that kind of activity going, you don't have a vision, and you're not moving ahead regardless, a lot of times it's hard to attract those people that are movers and shakers.
Yeah, and in the indie world, you're never going to be at the point where everything's in place.
Right,
And it's like, oh, everything's in place, we're totally ready to go. Is never going to happen.
Yeah.
It's always going to be, we got most of these things, but we're still missing this. You're going to have to just get started and hope that you can pick it up somewhere
For
along
sure.
the way. And then a bunch of other things are going to change.
Yeah.
You know, a bunch of things you got promised aren't going to get delivered, but a bunch of other things you never even thought of are going to show up in their place.
Yeah.
So
That is exactly how I feel all the time. So going back to task listing, for me personally, I'm that same way. I'm like, why am I going to make a plan if it's going to change midway through? Like, I made this whole schedule, and then something came in, and then something came up, and I had this acting call, and I was like, why did I don't know. For me, I don't do good with planning. So it's like, how do you stay focused on just staying in the momentum of I need to pursue this career. I need the motivation to get up and do this. It's now or never sort of thing, you know? For someone that's so unorganized and scattered, which is it's kind of outing
you should always have a plan.
I know, yeah.
And you should always
Right?
have a plan B.
You'd like to
And
think
then
that.
you should always have a plan C when plan B fails too.
That's true.
Because you're right, the plan is nothing's ever going to go according to
Yeah.
plan. It never will. But you still have to make the plan, so you're at least thinking ahead. It actually have the more you prepare for a project, the more that you're ready, you have everything ready, the more spontaneous you can be. So you don't. It's like if you spend a lot of time preparing, you're not locked in to what you prepared for.
That's true.
You're actually free to do that and maybe something more.
Yeah, like with being film directors, you have a cinematographer, and the cinematographer, and you go through a shot list. And so I will prepare my shot list, meet with my cinematographer. Cinematographer will tell me what is viable or what their opinion and how they want that to go, and then I change my plan according to that. And then you get on set, and then you have different things that come up where you have to rearrange that plan. So you're always adjusting. There's always an adjustment with your plan. So making the plan is actually the action of getting something done. The adjustment is it's the process of getting it done. And then you get into editing, and it's still another, it's not all the shots, and now you have a different movie. So I think that lists, plans, those things, I think that from my perspective at least, it's the way to have success. It's the way to get what you want. If you're a passive observer, if you're waiting for other people to do things for you, if you're not actively pursuing, it's going to be a really, you could do just fine, but
you're whoa.
but more than often, the people that you admire are visionaries, and visionaries are not dreamers. Dreamers are people who have lofty ideas, and they're great, but usually they ask other people to execute their ideas. Visionaries move things forward. They see what is possible, and they keep pursuing it relentlessly.
I like that you said that, because I feel like a lot of times people are like, I'm a dreamer, I have all these dreams and these goals, but it's what happens to them, they're almost like pipe dreams. But the fact that you said, instead of saying, I have a dream, be like, I'm a visionary, I have a vision that I want to execute.
Yeah.
I like that you said that. Okay.
It's hard to execute a dream.
It is hard to. So you're if you're more certain of what you want.
And you dream while you're sleeping.
Exactly. So it's but I'm awake now, and I'm imagining, how am I going to put this into perspective and bring it to life?
Yeah,
People
for
should,
sure.
do the different. Flip it. We need to, just, whoop. I like that.
Yeah. Also, if you as a filmmaker are waiting for approval or permission to make your work, you can be waiting a very long time, because it's never going to come. You are the one that authorizes yourself to make the project.
Yeah.
And you have to talk everybody else into doing it. But if you're going to wait, I just need this, I just need that, I need person A to tell me it's all right. No, it's going to be a long time.
Your validation is the best validation.
Yes.
I like that. Woo, well, this is scary. But I guess, speaking of being scared and jumping into this big, wide world of opportunity and being a visionary and
Mhm.
executing those dreams. What is the scariest experience that you two have ever had?
Oh, in real
Like,
life.
well, I guess it could be like if you went to a haunted house, or if
Oh.
like you like almost like died in some kind of way. I know that's pretty dramatic. That's like, whoa, okay, who are these cars? That's crazy, girl. Or like just anything that felt scary to you guys in your lifetime.
Do you want to go?
I've seen some really gruesome things in my time, but
Yeah.
they're probably not appropriate to talk about here.
It could even be in like your film, like something
But
that happened.
as a parent, I have two daughters. Basically, as soon as they came into the world, that completely trumped everything else I was ever afraid of. If anything happens to them, that's the most terrifying thing I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's adequate.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've had a lot of scary moments because I've trained horses, but I would say one of the scariest haunted houses that I went to was in Kansas City, Missouri, in college, and it was called the Edge of Hell, and it was this huge warehouse in the Railroad District, and it was 3 stories high, and the whole first floor was just a complete blackout maze. So you're just walking into walls. And then you went up to the next floor and there was like a werewolf. Like, I mean, it was like a Hollywood movie set. You were in a cave. There was a wolf man that chased you. There was a swamp thing. There was like a whole situation. And then we wound up going to the top floor, and then they had God. And it was all ethereal and beautiful. And then the God walks you to this like slide, and you slide down the slide all 3 floors, and then the devil's standing at the bottom screaming at you.
that sounds like fun.
It was
I
so
would
much
do
fun.
that.
I love haunted houses. Do you?
Yeah. Oh, yes,
Oh,
of course.
I love them.
When I remember I was a little kid. There's this. We'd go vacation in Florida in the summer, and there was a haunted house in Orlando called the Mystery Spot.
Ooh.
Been there for years and years, but yeah, it's like the first part you go in was like dark maze, but this one was glass and mirrors.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, like I remember trying to like find your way through the maze, and
that's so
yeah,
fun.
and like all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
Like that really made an impression on me as a little kid. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I haven't been to a haunted house here yet.
Do they even have any out here?
They have one out at McCall's.
That one's pretty good.
Yeah.
McCall's Pumpkin Patch.
They
should
do
do
have
that
them at
one.
calls. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot about that because like post COVID, and then now we're like somehow
Yeah, I
we're
don't.
like
Are
back.
we back open
we
now?
hear like, is this life real?
I think it's open. Yeah.
It is open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wow. I want to go to haunted house.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for this festival. I haven't been to the Guild Theater in like since before the pandemic started.
Yeah.
Just 'cause I haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like
That's
most
what I'm
people.
saying. It's gonna be so fun to step back into that, like the film festivals, and like just
Yeah.
see everybody and be like, "Hi, it's me. Like, come watch my film."
Yeah, the film festival circuit has been really
Yeah.
weird. And
But
this past
yeah, I
year with The Maid,
know.
we've been all over the world, but we've been able to go to a lot of festivals. One of my producers is at the Cannes Short Film Festival this next weekend with The Maid. So she's there,
nice.
and she's fluent in French, so she's going to do a talk back and everything.
Perfect.
I know, I was like, you get to show off your
Oh my
French. and
God.
Be super cool.
And be like, "Oh my god, if I
Yeah.
I want to learn French." I
Right.
Just imagine that.
Well, put it on your list.
That's that's one of my intentions. I'm like, add this to my task list. Learn
Exactly.
French.
Learn
Just take
Be
you a
a hot
weekend.
French man. Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
Right? Oh, speaking of intentions, our intentional moments. Hello.
Hey everyone, Candace New here. As you can see, I am not standing in New Mexico. I'm here in Puerto Galera, Philippines. I'm on a dive retreat, and this intentional moment is brought to you by Scandi Dive Resort and the Scuba Company, located in Albuquerque, New Mexico, for all your scuba needs. Today, we are talking about task listing. We've been going on a journey talking about goal setting, and today we're talking about taking those SMART goals and those 6 most important things and turning them into a task list. Task listing is entirely different than just creating a list of the 6 most important things, those most pivotal moments. Instead, we're going to take that a little bit deeper. So the problem with our 6 most pivotal things is that so often we list these things, even if they're SMART goals, it doesn't attend to the fact that we have other things that get in the way that actually prevent us from getting there. Have you ever noticed that no matter how important the item is on your list, you don't get it done, right? So often that is because we are caught up with all of the other tasks that we didn't account for in order to really get that done. So what we do is we take our SMART goal. Let's say our goal is that we are going to go to the gym twice a week for 60 minutes, right? Seems like a reasonable goal. It's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant, it's time-bound, all the things we need, and it's a high leverage point, right? We know that if we can hit those health goals, that's really going to pivot us to the next level. We've done those things. Put it on our list. We didn't account for the fact that we don't even have a gym membership. We don't even have an idea of where we want to go. We don't know what we're going to do when we get there. When we get to the gym, we're not even sure what that's going to look like, right? And so these are items that fall under that goal that are tasks related to that goal. So what we need to do is we need to take that goal and we need to start writing a list of all of the different tasks that need to get done in order to get to the point where we can actually start working on that goal, and also when we're there in that goal. And so we're going to take all of those down. We're going to write them down. You're going to hate this. I know you're going to hate this, and I promise you it's going to seem a little bit tedious, but if you just follow what I'm giving you for 6 months, I promise you it's going to change your life, right? So we're going to take that and we're going to task list it. We're going to literally write down, okay, first I'm going to spend 15 minutes. We're going to give it a time amount. I'm spend 15 minutes today filling out an application for a gym. Maybe I'm going to spend 30 minutes looking at and comparing gym prices and gym amenities, right? So that's maybe what I'm going to do. So you're going to give yourself a task of all the different things that need to happen, and you're going to give that an amount of time. And that's going to be really important next week, and you'll see why. So I'm going to have you write down every single thing that needs to happen. That's going to give you a different checklist so that even today you can begin working towards that. So we're going to start off with just researching gyms. Then we're going to go ahead and choose a gym. We're going to pick out the 15 minutes. We're going to say it's going to take me 15 minutes to fill out an application. I'm going to go out, and when I get there, I'm going to spend 30 minutes researching workout routines so that when I get to the gym, I don't feel stupid. Because me in the gym, not happening, right? I need to know what I'm doing. I need a game plan, right? So I'm going to have you take your SMART goal that you built and go ahead and write down all of the tasks that are involved in that, even the little tiny stupid ones, like I need to make a phone call to get my friend Jasper to go with me to the gym because I know I'm not going to go by myself, right? So maybe it is making that phone call, having an accountability partner, all of the things that you need to do, every single task involved. Go ahead and write that down. Next week, I'm going to show you how you can take that task list and turn it into a surefire plan to help you reach those goals. Stay tuned. I hope you're enjoying the New Agenda hosted this week while I'm enjoying the beach with Ophelia. Much love, and I will see you next week.
Well, welcome back. Hello, Candace. I miss you, Queen. I know you're slaying it in the Philippines. And I guess to jump back into our fabulous guest, so I guess some questions would be like, how do you break into the film industry or just break into it in general, especially in New Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like?
Well, it depends on what your what area you're looking. If you're looking below the line, there's a lot of training you can get involved in. So if you want to go into being a gaffer or a grip or a cinematographer or costumes, makeup, all the things that everybody needs on a set to sort of make it cohesive. Above the line is going to be your writer, director, producers, and those folks are going to, you don't have to go to school. You can learn from being, interning. You can learn from friends. You can, take a master class, get on master class and learn from people that have been doing it, I think that there's a lot of ways to actually set yourself up, get yourself an iPhone or a phone that you can actually edit stuff with. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to be a filmmaker, the best way to do it is get a camera, and your phone is just fine. Not my preferred camera, but it works. And set something up, write it, shoot it, edit it. You're going to learn more from doing that in however long that takes you than you could from many years of schooling. Because
Absolutely.
It can be quite painful, actually, to when you write something and in your head it looks great, and then you actually get people to say your words.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay. And but you learn so much. You learn by your mistakes. You learn everything. You like, okay, next one's gonna be better.
Yeah. Yeah, you always have to be willing to fail. Always be willing.
Because you're going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing. It's like if you fail, it's like we'll come back 10 times harder and like learn from that. So like seeing it as like a defeat. You see it as like an improvement to improve yourself. And whenever you do come back, you're like, okay, now I'm ready because I know what I did wrong and what I did right. It's like a self-reflection.
Yeah, well, film is a very unforgiving, ruthless medium.
Yes, it
if
is.
if the lighting isn't right, it's movie's junk. The sound is bad. Movie's junk. Performances weren't really there. Movies. It doesn't matter how good the script is.
The movie's junk.
It just it's like literally yes.
Yeah.
It's like if any one thing isn't
Mhm.
there, the whole thing falls apart.
Well, and people love to critique it because they can watch it over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
No.
unlike theater, where if you go and every night's a little different, and as the show goes on, the cast improves, deepens, moves through things, like expands on different things. Film, it's done, one and done. So, yeah.
So what would you say is like the difference between theater and film? Because I feel like sometimes people don't really know that. Like, I mean, for me personally, oops, sorry, touch the mic. Because for me personally, Miss Theater over here. For me personally, I guess I would also like to know what the difference would be between film and theater. And
Well, I think there's a lot of facets that make it different. Theater is a writer's medium, and film is a director's medium. George C. Wolfe, who's a famous playwright, director, and filmmaker, he once said that film is about story, television about character, and plays are about ideas. And I think that is so true.
Yeah.
It is across the board. And so theater is when you're doing a play, you're serving a play as an actor. When you're in the film, you're really serving the director's vision. So I think that's the biggest difference, just from a wide scope.
I like that, serving the director's vision. That like really sinks in more.
Right, because in the play, the words, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a writer's medium. The playwright's words are what we honor. You don't change the writing. You don't, every time that play gets done, you don't get to just like hack away at it. But when a screenwriter gets their film to a director, the director usually gives them notes to rewrite from their perspective of what they want to see. So it's very different.
Yeah. So I guess speaking of that, is there anything else that you two would like to shine light on, sort of being in New Mexico film industry?
Being in New Mexico, New Mexico is a great place to be as a filmmaker, and we've got lots of Hollywood productions coming here if you want to work below the line. But there's a lot of talented people around here that you could make friends with and collaborate with and learn everything you need to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've enjoyed making films here. I love New Mexico as a muse. I think that there's a lot of character and culture, and the light's beautiful. We have 4 seasons. Like there's everything we need is here, and I think a lot of filmmakers on both coasts are recognizing that, which is why you're seeing a lot of outside film coming in. But local filmmakers are also very active and collaborating and working together. You'll see, my crew on my last 2 shorts, we're all actively working on TV series, as camera operators. And then we would shoot 2 or 3 days on the short, and they would come and work on their days off to be on my crew, or be the DP, or be the first camera, or be the AC. And so that just sort of gives them more creative vision when they're on a TV show, when everything is very much set. And they're not picking the shots. They're just executing them. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a cool place to create.
Well, like they say, New Mexico is the new Hollywood. And we're definitely evolving. And
Except we don't have a beach. But
we don't have a
other than
beach,
that-
but we do have the lake or something. You could
Tingley Beach? No, doesn't count.
Tingley
Doesn't count.
with the little ducks in the pond. You're like, hello, ducks.
Yes, it's
I love it. That's Tingley Beach? Yeah, in Albuquerque. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. So cute.
Maybe 100 years from now there will be a beach.
Oh
Maybe.
God. Scared. In this time and age,
some
I would
oceanfront property in New
Oh, God.
Mexico.
probably.
Oh,
I would.
Santa Fe
Texas will
have
be
the
underwater.
map. Oh, well.
All right, yeah.
Who cares?
I can live with that.
Oh, well.
Let's get
No offense,
political,
no offense.
guys.
I have
Pretty
Oh,
and
well,
family in
political.
Texas, and they
Show's going
still
off the
wouldn't
rails.
upset me.
No, it's
Yeah.
in this day and age, I wouldn't be surprised if a beach just popped up out of nowhere in New Mexico. I'd be like, yeah, that's not surprising. Probably, yeah. Here we are. Well, I guess thank you and thank you
Thank
for
you.
being
Thank you.
here. This was amazing.
Yeah, this was
And
fun.
yes, and I guess to end the show,
Mhm.
what?
We have to do a thing.
Okay, so I guess to end the show, it is time for
A
New
New
Agenda.
Agenda.